Good afternoon. I'd just like to introduce myself. I'm Crittenden, and I'm a specialist teacher here at Fort Lewis Mesa Elementary this year. The only specials I'm not teaching this year is music. And just so you know, we have contracted Stillwater Music once a week to come in, and they will be taking care of the music special on Thursdays. Yes. So this is Mrs. Autumn Frickel.
Yeah.
And she is our counselor this year. We are sharing her with Sunnyside. She was actually our counselor here, I believe, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So we're actually really excited to have her back. We're going to go ahead. I'll start. Yay! And I'm going to start and explain kind of specials, and then I'm going to hand it over to Autumn, and she'll talk a little bit about counseling. So for specials this year, just so you know, the schedule is Mondays will be technology, Tuesdays will be art, Wednesdays and Fridays are PE, and Thursdays will be music. So just so you know, for PE, the weather's starting to turn. So if you could please start dressing your kiddos in layers. In case we go outside, they'll make sure to be warm, especially in the morning. The older classes definitely will continue to go outside for the next few weeks, depending on the weather. So I have for you guys today, I did take some pictures. My slideshow's not working, but I'm going to show you some pictures of the areas that we have for specials, and just maybe a few kid pictures, so you can see a little bit of them in action. I had actually a couple of really cool hula hoop videos, but that didn't work out so well because they wouldn't upload. They were too long. So this is our welcome billboard that we have at the beginning of the school. We are so glad you're all here, and we're so glad to be in school. I really am excited that we're in person. Don't want to be remote again.
Yeah, that was so hard.
Yes, for sure. And so let me just kind of start with, I will start with the gym. Here's a picture of the gym. This is kind of our gym space. As far as the rules go for PE this year, I'm kind of, it's a little bit less stringent than it was last year. We are wearing masks inside, but I allow them to take mask breaks. We take mask breaks where if they feel like they need a break, they can just go off by themselves where they're socially distanced at least 6 feet, and they can just take a mask break, take some deep breaths, not a big deal. And then outside, as long as we're not close to one another, they can play without a mask. Usually we just pull it down because they're wearing them on the way to class anyway. So I really can't just gather them all up and put them in a bag or something. That wouldn't be very hygienic. So that's kind of what we're doing with PE as far as the masking goes. And here is a couple other, this is our soccer ball wall. This is kind of how we have some incentives in PE for behavior and good sportsmanship and following the rules. Each class can earn soccer balls every class period for PE. And if you earn enough soccer balls by the end of the month, your class, this is as a class, can earn a game day. So that just basically means that the kids get to nominate and then vote on their favorite 2 games to play as a class. So they earned it as a class, they get to vote as a class, and they love it because they get their choice of what they want to play. So that's, if you ever wonder what this wall is, that is our soccer balls to being earned towards game day. And then over here, this wall, if you ever see this one when you're in the gym, hopefully sometime soon, these are where I put the learning targets for the day. And then we have basic expectations over here. You know, when it's time to listen, it's really important they listen so they know what's going on and following the directions, and of course being safe. And then respecting others, hustling, trying your hardest. PE is all about participation and trying. I don't grade on you know, people learning or trying new things, but I will grade on if they're trying at all. Some kids are really on it and they're excited and they'll try any sport. And then you can definitely tell that some kids are a little more timid, and that's fine. But I do let them know that they still need to participate, even if it's not their favorite sport. Over here, we have some basic PE signs. And then this is what's on your plate. We follow the My Plate nutrition plan. And then the 5 components of fitness. So these are just some different curriculum things that I have going on for PE. So you can look at them, and they have to do with exercise and eating healthy. So those are kind of what the posters are in the gym. And let me see, I just have a couple of pictures for you of some kids doing some PE. These are the younger kids. This past week, we worked on the overhand throw. So they all lined up on the black sideline and they all got ready. We're working on stepping in opposition and making sure you throw over your head and follow through. So those are some key points for the younger ones. This is grades K through 2. And they're all showing you they're ready. Yeah, and we actually kind of played a game with this where they'd throw and go chase the ball and then they'd throw it back. And that was just preparation for another game that we played at the end where they used their overhand throw. Yeah. I think that's that. Our next special that I'll touch on is art. So this is our first art bulletin board, if you'd like to take a look. This actually says fall colors. There's an L behind there. But our very first project was the index cards. And I had items, magazines, markers, crayons, watercolors, some little puff balls, just different items that they could use. And they were creating a collage of their choice. So they got to express themselves by collage. And then I just put all the collages from our school onto our letters that makes us FLME. Then this past week, we did another project that had to do with fall leaves. So we had some leaves that we picked outside, or I picked outside, and they got to choose a leaf, and then they used chalk pastels, and they actually did some tracings around the leaf with the different colored pastels and kind of created their own leaves with negative space. So this was our very first kind of bulletin board for the year. I like to try and keep it interesting in our solarium. So
Definitely adds the color. It's fun.
There they go. And then let me show you the art room. Kind of doing a virtual tour. My slideshows did not, I was trying to upload a slideshow and the pictures would not upload into it, which is weird because they're all Google. So this is our art space. I have 2 students sitting per desk, and they do have caddies with markers, pencils, scissors, glue sticks, and crayons. And but they are at their disposal. And then we'll use other items that I usually just have out per class period, depending on what project we're working on. So this is our shared art space. And here are some of the projects that we are going to be working on. These are different grades, but these are some of my example ones that I did with them, just so you can kind of see what they look like. We've got some rubbings, some watercolors with color mixing, some tessellation, and then some basic shapes. This is the younger students. And then we had geometric shapes that we're working on. So we kind of incorporate a bit of the color wheel and some math, and we do a little bit of everything in art. Here's some other examples. This was done last year with 1st and 2nd grade. It was a little paper weaving. This one was different types of colors. So we had one square of complementary, one of different hues of the same color. We had one that had like tertiary colors, all related. So each square was a different kind of color relation. And then we had some character type drawings and colors, and then some like realistic house type things. So we did a little bit of everything. These are the elements of art that we cover, especially in the lower grades. And then we kind of move past that in the upper grades and use those to get more into the principles of art. And then I have a couple posters that just kind of have to do with fake versus real creating, just to keep them thinking about like, what should I be doing in art? And because art is very subjective, and I just want them to make sure that they're doing their best when they're creating their artwork, and that it's their own unique piece, not somebody else's. And I also have another poster that has to do with finished versus unfinished artwork. So if you look, and this is just ways to, kind of think, am I finished with this? Or do I need to add some more detail? So, this just it kind of helps them understand, and it's nice that they can look at it and see, oh, okay, I need to add details. Oh, was I scribbling, or did I take my time and then I do solid coloring? Especially we do a lot of outlining. First we'll write in pencil and then we'll use marker over the pencil. So are they taking their time and doing a good job of outlining their pencil tracing? So these are just some things to remember for the kiddos to keep them on task and doing quality work. Let's see, as far as technology goes, I didn't get any pictures of the actual computer lab. It's right next to the front office. So far for this year, we've started keyboarding and we're using a different program. We don't have learning.com this year. So we're using Typing Club is the name of it, Typing Club. And it teaches touch typing. And then we're also using code.org to teach some very basic algorithmic coding. And we're probably going to kind of delve into the Google Apps and Google Classroom this year, just in case we have to go remote again. And just, it's a good thing for them to feel comfortable with because they'll be using Google throughout their schooling here. Okay. So kind of just a quick heads up on that. And the next thing I'd like to show you, is, oh, here's some kiddos doing art. I forgot I had these guys here. Some pictures. These were the square one. Last year we did a square one art project. Every grade did. And basically it's the kids doing an art project and then we send away, it's a fundraiser, but I like to do it before Christmas because a lot of people like to order items with their kids' art on it, their artwork. It's a really cool present for like grandparents, parents, brothers, sisters. So this is us working on our square one art. That will be coming out in October, I believe, the order forms, if you like what the artwork your child or grandchild has done. So this is them actually doing the leaves, the fall leaf colors. Yep. Sorry, my son has joined us, so he's watching the pictures too. And then this was our pop art. This was Miss Clement's class. And here's Bryn. She's working on multicolored hands. This was a bunch of handprints.
Christy, I can't see your screen.
You can't? Oh no. Thank you for telling me because we have one more person. Oh, bummer. I don't know what's going on with Google. It is giving me such a hard time with all this. Well, thank you for letting me know. I guess we will skip the pictures then, and I'll just have to send them out. All right, let me see here. Who are you just seeing us?
Yeah, I'm just seeing you. I tried going through the different views and I can't get anything.
Oh my gosh. Well, I will share the screen. I thought I did. Oh, that's why. That was my fault. Okay, let's try that again. I was
there we go.
Pictures that we just talked about. There we go. Oh my gosh, thank you. I hit the wrong button. So there's the gym. There's the art room. Just click through them. Yes, since you already heard the spiel. Here's our unfinished versus finished artwork. And some of the sample products we'll be doing. This was my art, but we do similar projects and they do their own creativity with it. Real versus fake creating. So things to keep in mind, some more of our sample projects. And this is the science lab, which I have not talked about yet. We are doing science again, and I've already done, gosh, 2 labs and a demonstration with Miss Clement's class, Mr. Services class, and Miss O'Buck's class. And kindergarten, Miss Harris usually does kind of her own thing. She uses a different curriculum, and she kind of keeps, you know, she kind of has her thing going. But kindergarten might be joining us as well when they kind of get settled into school. So now the way the science lab works is that it's not just me doing random labs with the kids for fun. It's actually tied to whatever the teacher is studying in the class at the time. So this past week we did elapsed time with Mr. Services class, and it was a whole lab about first they predicted how much time it would take to do certain things, and then they actually timed it to kind of give them an idea of how much time has passed. And his lab last week was on data collection. So whatever the teacher is teaching in his curriculum, I get with them and I basically put together a lab based on where they're at. So we co-teach for the science labs, which it's really cool. I think it's so helpful. The kids get hands-on experience, and it's also related to what they're currently studying. So I'm really glad that science lab is back. And then here's kind of our science shared vision. It got sprayed, if you can't tell, by the cleaning products. So this is our shared vision for the all the science classes. And then this is our code of collaboration, just the details that we need to do to actually make science work smoothly. So the biggest thing is safety, and I'm pretty strict to make sure that they're following the rules, just because I've almost had a couple of incidences by kids not paying attention. So I am pretty strict on that, just because I don't want anybody to get hurt. And the science lab is a place that can be dangerous, just like the gym, right? I make sure that they are being safe. Here is another wall of the science lab. This is the chalkboard where we were working with data collecting on genres of books and what kids liked. And then we actually worked on bar graphs. And so they did this as well. And I kind of just showed them, or we kind of did some of it together, and then they went off on their own and finished.
And it's a real chalkboard.
It is a real chalkboard. The only one in our building that I know of, and I get it for science. But here's some of our key terms and the objective. This is usually how I present science, with key terms, objectives, and then and I kind of make sure we go over some of these terms and that they understand them. So I'm just really excited Science Lab is back. And here's our wall of soccer balls that I had discussed about. This is kind of our incentive for earning a game day every month, where the kids get choice, voice and choice. And then there's the actual picture of my learning targets for PE, and then some of our PE and health information and rules. And this is our entrance bulletin board when you first come into the hallway. And there's some of our art students.
Working hard.
Working hard, yep. And sometimes I just get so involved in doing what I'm doing that it's really hard for me to remember to take pictures. So here's some of the younger ones working on their overhand throw and stepping in opposition. We were kind of playing a game with this. So they all start on their own dot, and then when I blow the whistle, they all throw overhand, and then they go chase their yarn ball, and then we do it on the other side and come back. And it's a chance for me to see how they're throwing and to help them with any of their technique. And then we play an overhand throwing game after that. So this is kind of like my chance for them to practice. Oh, and there's another lab that we just finished. This was Miss O'Buck's class, and we were working on kind of the properties of matter and how we describe things using color, shape, size, texture, materials. And we also did some graphing. So that was science. Yeah, there's some of the more science key terms and objectives. And there's our beautiful bulletin board.
It is beautiful.
Of our artwork. So we can end with that.
Yes.
All right, let me stop my screen sharing. Well, thank you for letting me know that. Hopefully you got to see some pictures. It wasn't like I'm going through the whole thing, have no idea.
Start it away.
Right. Let me see if there's anything I missed. So I'll ask if there's any questions you guys have about specials, you can ask me now. And then I'll turn it over to Autumn, so we can kind of do it that way.
Thanks, Christy. That was great.
Yeah.
What I haven't quite got a full grasp on what's going on with music this year.
So yes, I did. I mentioned it at the very beginning. I don't think you'd come on yet.
Sorry.
They actually contracted Stillwater Music to come out once a week. And so her name is Paula. I don't remember her last name, but she has been teaching music on Thursdays. And so she has them in the music room. I know that they've already done some stuff with drums and ukulele. And so, yeah, they did contract Stillwater out. And, you know, and that kind of, it was exciting for me just because I wouldn't have minded doing music. I actually kind of got with some music teachers over the summer and was talking about curriculum, but I just couldn't have done any science labs. And I really think the science labs were enriching for the kids. I was upset that a lot of the teachers, we were kind of like, man, we were really bummed to see those go. So it kind of freed me up to be able to do the science labs. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, great. Mariah is like super excited for
Oh.
like kindergarten science lab.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, I've talked to Miss Brainerd. The kinders, they're kind of new to school, so they
Right.
ease in a little
Yeah.
slower. So
Yeah. Thank you.
yeah. Do you have any other questions? Anybody
No, I
else?
don't think-
And then I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Frickel.
Ms. Frickel.
Yes, who I introduced at the beginning, but I'll just go over one more time. She was our counselor here about 4 years ago, and she actually moved and moved farther away. So she ended up working at Sunnyside, but now she's split between our two schools.
Yep.
So we have her like 2 days a week, sometimes 3. So, and she knows a lot of the kids from the past, the ones that are
The older
older,
ones.
right? And we're actually really excited that she's here and to have her back. So I'm gonna hand it over to Autumn.
Yeah, so I'm super happy to be here. Yeah, I missed the school. Like I'm at Sunnyside is small too. It's very similar, but there's just something special about Fort Lewis Mesa. And as disappointing as it is to only be at halftime at the school, like it's still great because I get to see all the kids. Like I'm going into all the classes and teaching lessons, and I'm doing Kelso's Choices, which maybe I sent home letters for kinder, first, and second, and then so hopefully we got that. Yeah,
I'm gonna show you
there's
guys
a picture.
Kelso's Choices. There it is.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, so it's basically, I'm just teaching them right now, like the 9 different choices, and then the difference between a small problem and a big problem. And so that they know, like, they can solve small problems by themselves and they're like strong enough to do it. And big problems are more like something that's scary or dangerous. And that's when they need to talk to an adult. So we kind of went through that and then I sent home those letters. And I'm also following a curriculum called Second Steps. And it teaches about empathy and problem solving. And I think it's a really great program. I think there's a couple other themes in the curriculum, but I've started that in the older classes, but I'm only going to Mr. Service and Miss Clemens' class every other week. So we haven't gotten to see each other very often, which is sad. But so I'm starting that, and then I'm also going to be starting groups. So I have groups like friendship groups or anger management, or I'm doing some social skills groups or grief groups or separation, divorce kind of groups. So there's a wide variety, and I just kind of do whatever the need is. And that kind of flexes. So those groups usually last like 6 to 8 weeks, and then we'll move on, but or have another group. We just decide as it goes on. You kind of have to gauge it.
Right.
It's like
See where everybody's
see what
at.
the need is.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things I'm sad we're not doing this year is Girls on the Run, but hopefully we can get that going next year. That'd be fun. Yeah. What else about counseling? Do you have any questions about counseling or any questions about me?
Did you see that sauce?
I loved getting the Kelso's Choices sent home. We like to try to incorporate some of that. So
That's
any of
awesome.
that from the upper levels, any of that verbiage or, those lessons would be helpful for me to see that I could like implement
For
at
sure.
home.
Yeah.
And we actually use, we're going to be as a staff all using PBIS, which is Positive Behavior Intervention System. Is that right? So we will be working on using like similar language as a staff too with kids. So Kelso's Choices is usually for the younger, right?
It
like
is.
K through 2.
Yeah. Well, and then I don't teach it in the older, but hopefully it like
Carries
bleeds over.
Right.
Yeah.
the basic ideas of it.
But I don't know how much has been taught the last couple of years, so the older kids might not have the language. Yeah.
Right.
Amy Vito talked about it a little bit,
Yeah,
and
she
we've
did.
got we've had Kelso on our fridge for years.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the PBIS is, it's kind of like ways to be positive when you're giving choices or when you're kind of dealing with behaviors. As a parent, I still struggle with that. And I don't know, sometimes I have a problem with like, I think you can get really wordy when you're trying to be positive, and sometimes it needs to be short.
Right.
And so finding
Simple.
that balance, right? Simple and
Yeah.
short can be tough sometimes, but you know, just learning the language and kind of being on the same page, you
Right.
know, I think really helps, because then the kids know what they're hearing,
Right.
and then they're like, oh, this means, you know, I should probably stop doing this or start doing
Right.
this. So
Yeah, and part of the like benefit of having the counseling classes is that I always ask the teachers to stay in the room so that they can carry on the language that I use. That way, like it's becomes common between the whole staff too. Yeah, and I do have like second steps information that I'll send home to parents. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's, I don't know if there's anything else.
Do you guys have any other questions or want to know anything else?
I could probably just keep talking, but I don't want to waste time. So.
No, thank you. That was great. I'm excited you're here.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. I mean, I hate to say it, but she's my, and since I've been here, she's my favorite. So I'm glad she's back.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm not saying anything else, but just she's my favorite. But yeah, so thank you guys for joining us. And like I said, I'm really glad to be back in person. I'm really trying to make it so you know, the masks can be tough. I know I wear them all day. My face is all broken out. It's, you know, it's no fun. But we're taking mask breaks, and I know Bayfield Middle School has already been shut down, you know, and they are doing the masks weren't mandatory. So I'm hoping that, you know, even though they're not that fun to wear, I'm really hoping that it keeps us going.
I know.
Because in my opinion, at least for specials, remote was not working for me. I had like,
Counseling.
yeah, 8 to 12 kids, you know, that would show up on a regular basis. And now I'm seeing almost all the kids every day, you know, so I'm really glad we're back. And if that can keep us here without having an outbreak, then I'm for it, because I want us to be here. It's important. These kids need to be in school. So that remote was rough.
It was it's true. Probably for everyone involved.
I am sure. Yes. I was glad that Sawyer was in preschool last year, because I was like, being a parent and teaching could be really tough right now. Well, thank you guys for joining us. And I will, I'm going to stop the recording, and then I will put it, if you missed part of it, I will probably send out an IC blast with the link. So if you guys want to review it, you can. But I think we covered just about everything. So thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah,
have a nice night.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.